Greetings, students, and welcome to week 3 of the great coronavirus shutdown. I want to show you what I've been up to. I've been working on our sound studio, and we've got all of the acoustic foam set up and ready to go. Let's take a look. Look at that. Now that is a really nice looking sound studio. And not only does it look great, but I think we're going to find out that it sounds great too. We got some nice mics, nice cameras, nice foam, some really nice speakers, really cool soundboard. Look at that. Let's test it out. Let's see how this place sounds. Alright, so the first thing I want to tell you about is room tone. And room tone is the sound that you hear when someone stops talking and you just listen to the sound of the room. And I wish that our room tone here was a little bit quieter, but you could probably hear the sound of the air handling system when I stop talking. Listen for it again. I'm going to stop talking and see if you can listen to the sound of our air handling system at work. There it is. That's the room tone. I wish it was quieter, but that's the way it is. Let's listen next and see if you can tell how much of an echo is there in this room. Does the room sound like it's too dead? Too dead means like there's too much acoustic foam on the walls and it's just soaking up every echo. So you don't usually want a room to sound too dead, but you also want to listen to my voice and see, does the room sound like it's too live? Too live means too echoey. So you want a balance in your room. At least we want in this studio there to be a balance between too live and too dead. And so that's why not every square inch of wall is covered with acoustic foam. We left some bare wall on here so that we get some reflections of sound. But then where we have the foam, you won't get very much reflection at all. So there should be, I hope you hear a good balance between not too live and not too dead, meaning not too echoey and not too muffled. Now, by the way, the microphone that we're using right now, that you're hearing my voice through, is the on-camera mounted shotgun microphone. So there's a distance of about 3 feet from me to the microphone, and that's kind of a long distance when you're trying to pick up somebody's voice, but I'm expecting that to be just what we want for recording the room tone, what it sounds like in this room, where you can hear some of the air handling system doing its thing and some of my voice. And hopefully, mainly what you're hearing is my voice. Let's take a look at some of these other microphones and let's see how it sounds different when we use, for instance, this large diaphragm condenser studio microphone with the pop filter. I think you're going to hear things are going to they're going to sound very different with this mic. And then when we use this handheld mic, things might sound a little bit different. And then when we use this shotgun mic, it's probably going to sound different too. So we're going to go through all 3 of those different mics and take a listen to what the sound is like from each of these 3 different mics. All right, here we go. We're going to try a different microphone now. Here we go. So the first thing we need to do if we're going to try a different microphone is I need to synchronize this microphone, which is recording into the computer, with the microphone that's on the camera. And the way we're going to do that synchronization is with a clap. So can you hear the difference now as I talk into this large diaphragm studio condenser microphone? Can you tell the difference between that and the microphone that we had on the camera? You might be able to see the audio waveforms here that are recording as I speak. These look like pretty good levels. Not too loud, not too quiet, just good solid levels. You might hear a difference in my voice, like my voice is getting a lot more detailed, like it sounds like I'm a lot closer to your ears. And that's what the large diaphragm studio condenser microphone is made for. It should sound like we're in a professional podcasting studio. And this room, hopefully, now that I'm closer to this microphone, hopefully you're hearing less echoes from our room. The closer you get your voice to that microphone, the less it's going to pick up the echoes from around your room. So what do you think? Is it worth it? Is all the time that we spent hanging acoustic foam onto these walls and making plans and ordering expensive microphones and expensive audio equipment, is all of that worth it? Does my voice sound really high quality right now? Hopefully the answer is yes. And what I want to do now is I want to record a movie trailer, an action adventure, movie trailer like what you see on TV or what you see in the movies when they come out with those fancy Hollywood blockbuster movie studio trailers. So I'm going to get a little bit closer here to the mic, and I'm going to turn on my announcer voice, and we're going to record a few different takes, because usually your first take is not going to be your best. And you may be able to tell the difference as I turn away from the mic. My voice may sound one way, and as I turn right into the mic, you're probably going to hear my voice a lot better. The pickup pattern on this microphone, it's going to pick up my voice better if I'm pointed at the microphone, and if I turn my voice over here, you're probably not going to hear it as well. So this type of microphone, it really does matter the distance to the mic, and it matters the direction if you're pointing into the mic. So let's do take one. This is me trying to be a professional movie studio trailer announcer, do a great voiceover. This is take one. In a world of magic and mystery, one man will have the adventure of a lifetime. And yes, there will be explosions. All right, how did I do? Did that sound real? We're going to do some editing later on and maybe add some reverb, maybe increase the bass, make it sound a little bit more professional. And of course, we're going to add in some audio effects. But that was take one. Let's try take two. In a world of magic and mystery, one man will have the adventure of a lifetime. And yes, there will be explosions. How did I do? Pretty dramatic? I hope so. Let's try a third take, and hopefully this will be the best one, and we'll get it done. Usually you should be able to get things done in 3 takes. If it takes longer than that, things just get kind of miserable. So let's try take 3. In a world of magic and mystery, one man will have the adventure of a lifetime. And yes, there will be explosions. All right, there you have it. Large diaphragm studio condenser microphone. One little point out there that I want to pass on to you is that this type of microphone needs to have extra voltage sent to it in order to work. It needs to have batteries built into it, or it needs to have what's called phantom power, which is plus 48 volts, going to it from your audio board or from your audio interface box, which is what we're doing right now, is we're sending that phantom power to the microphone to give it a little bit of electricity to pick up that little bit of extra signal to make it work better. And that's a thing with condenser mics. Some of the other mics I'm going to show you are different. They don't need that extra power. This kind of mic does. So again, that's mainly just for condenser mics. All right, here we go. We're going to try out the next microphone, which is this one. Take a look at this. This is a Shure SM58 dynamic microphone. And if you watch a lot of YouTube concert videos from like right now or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, you will probably see this microphone. This is the #1 touring on the road concert live microphone that people use. And it's a great microphone. I'm just going to need to synchronize it. So let's do the clap thing. We're going to need to synchronize this with what is being recorded onto the computer, because this mic is going straight into the computer versus what my camera is recording. I'm going to need to synchronize these later. So I'm going to carefully set the mic down. And hopefully that's going to be loud enough for us to synchronize. So with this type of mic, what you need to know is that it's very rugged. You know, you could drop this thing, don't, but you could. With this studio mic over here, the large diaphragm condenser mic, don't drop that one, okay? This one is kind of made to be taken on the road and toured around with, used and abused, and it's a great mic for recording live performances and for anything where people have to hold it in their hand and kind of bounce it around. It's got a shock mount built into it, and it's got the kind of the windscreen and the pop filter. This thing is the pop filter. It's kind of got all of that built into it. So you don't need a fancy mic stand. You don't need a bunch of difficult equipment. Everything is contained within this one unit. And how does it sound? How does my voice sound? Does my voice sound as good on this mic as it did on that one? By the way, they both cost $100. It's just that this one's a lot more rugged and this one's a lot more finicky, so this one kind of belongs in a studio. But I think my voice sounds better on this one, on the studio mic. But you'll need to be the judge of that. You'll need to go back and forth and kind of compare them. It's okay to replay this video, rewind it, and see if you can tell the difference between using the dynamic mic versus our studio mic. And this one does not need the phantom power. It doesn't need the extra electricity going through it to make it pick up the signal. It's got enough signal to start with. But the difference is you just got to remember when you're using a condenser mic, give it a little bit of extra phantom power, give it that extra electricity. This mic doesn't need a battery, doesn't have a battery built into it. It's just ready to go because it's a dynamic mic. And so that's a big difference. If you're reading about audio technology online, studio condensers, condenser mics, and dynamic mics, two totally different beasts because they're built differently and they need different power supplies. So sounds pretty good, right? You don't hear a lot of mic noise from me moving the mic around. I think if I were to take this mic and start moving it around, you would hear a lot of mic noise. If I point the mic away from me, you're not going to hear me right now because the pickup pattern is only going to pick up basically what's right in front of it. So as I point the mic over here, now you can hear me again because that's how the pickup pattern works. We're going to see a very different pickup pattern in our next microphone, which is this shotgun microphone. So stay tuned for shotgun microphone coming up next. All right, time for the last mic, mic number 3. Let's synchronize. All right, so I brought in a little monologue to read with this mic, and this is a Rode NTG2 shotgun microphone, and the shotgun microphone has a very particular pickup pattern. The pickup pattern is actually very narrow, so you really have to be facing right into the mic for it to pick you up. If I try to speak over here, you're not really going to hear me very well because I'm outside of the pickup pattern. Same thing with over here. If I'm trying to talk into the mic like this, not going to work. That would have worked just fine with this mic or with this mic because these two mics have a cardioid pickup pattern, which means they'll pick me up. As long as I'm roughly in front of the mic, it's going to pick me up. But with this shotgun mic, it's got a very narrow pickup pattern. So it's only going to pick me up if I'm pretty much just right in front of it. So I thought we'd do a little bit of a test here with my monologue. By the way, if you can name the author of this monologue, you will win 100 cool points if you can tell me who wrote this without having to Google it or ask your parents. Okay, here we go. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep, no more. And by a sleep to say we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. All right, how did that sound? Do you know who wrote it? And did you notice that my voice really fell off when I was over here outside of the pickup pattern and came back when I was right here in front of the shotgun mic and really fell off again when I was over here? You should be able to tell the difference in hearing the levels drop off as I lose the pickup pattern. So this is a condenser mic as well, just like this is a condenser mic, which means it needs that phantom power supplied to it. So I've got plus 48 volts heading out of my audio input box, into the computer so that this mic will sound correct. But this one over here, the handheld dynamic mic, that's the one that doesn't need the extra power sent to it. So I hope all of that makes sense to you. I hope you've learned something about audio recording and microphones and what mic is best for what kind of job. And I hope I can produce some more of these and send them to you. But the next few videos that you watch are probably going to be coming from my home office so that I can stay at home. So be safe, be well, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.